of the most effective ways to keep clutter at bay in our homes and to prevent small messes from building up is the 1-minute rule. The idea that if you can do it in 1 minute or less, you should do it now, not later. When followed consistently, it helps you to naturally build up a repertoire of tidy habits that can enable you to keep clutter in check and empower you to maintain a clean and tidy home. So in this video, I want to share with you a number of my favorite 1-minute tidy habits. Of course, this isn't an exhaustive list, but these are some of the ones that I found to be the most helpful. Now, getting right into this, the first thing that you can start doing is to never leave a room empty-handed. As you move about your house, either from room to room or floor to floor, before you leave the room that you're currently in, just do a quick scan of your surroundings and see if there's anything that you might be able to bring with you that belongs in the place that you're headed. So this could be something like dirty dishes that need to be brought to the kitchen and put in the dishwasher, or clean clothes that are folded and just need to be put away in the closet. This is something that takes mere seconds of your time, but by quickly checking if there's anything that you might be able to bring where it belongs, it helps make sure that everything is going back to its home. It helps to prevent clutter from piling up. Then something else you can do is to empty your car completely when you arrive home. This is something that you want to do immediately. Whatever you brought with you for the day, be sure to take that out of your vehicle, as well as anything that you might have picked up while you were out. This is going to help keep your car clutter-free, which is great to enjoy just personally, but also it's really helpful too if you ever need to carpool. You don't have to worry about messes on the floor, the seats, anything like that. It's ready for guests. And then also too, I find that often when we leave items in our car, those are often the things that we'll go searching about our house for, wondering where we place them. If we just take those couple extra seconds to take out the things that we've used from the car, we're not going to need to ever search for our sunglasses or whatever that item is. And this is a big one, and it's to look through your fridge and to throw out any leftover or expired food. It's something that I try to do probably like once or twice a week, but you just want to quickly check through your fridge, your pantry, double check the expiration dates on things, as well as the freshness of your fruits and vegetables. That's going to help your fridge to stay clean, ensure the freshness of your food, as well as make sure that nothing that has expired has a chance to get too nasty. I think we've all been there before where we just ignored the food in our fridge for a bit too long and it got just so gross. This is an easy way to make sure that never has to happen. And something you can do after you finish getting ready is just take a quick second and make sure that your bathroom counter is tidy. Make sure to properly store and put away any products that you use, straighten things up, and also to just give everything a quick wipe down to make sure there isn't any excess water on the counter. I find that this is something that often out of sheer laziness we can just completely neglect to do, but those 60 seconds spent tidying up truly is the difference between your bathroom just being a mess and being a beautiful and tidy space. And this is one that we've all heard before, but it still bears saying, and that's just to make your bed. Every single morning, just do it. This is one of those things that helps to set the tone for your day, not just from a productivity standpoint, but from a cleanliness and tidiness perspective as well. It's that first initial tidying habit that will then spark others. And one habit that I found to be wildly helpful the minute I started implementing was the one-touch rule. And the idea behind this rule is that your goal should be to only touch an item once. So when you finish eating and you have a dirty dish, rather than putting it on the counter and then the sink and then finally in the dishwasher, you want to put that item immediately in the dishwasher. That way you only need to touch it once. But this rule can also be applied in a number of other ways as well. One of my favorites is in putting your clothes away after changing. Rather than just discarding your clothing item either on the floor or on a piece of furniture, you want to take appropriate action on it. Either putting it in your hamper or hanging it back up. And then one little suggestion for this one is, I know that people will often use the floor or piece of furniture as kind of a placeholder for those clothing items that have been worn but aren't so dirty that they need to be washed yet and they can be worn again. What you can do is just designate a specific section of your closet for those items, maybe dedicate a few hangers for that exact purpose. And that way the clothes aren't mixed in with the rest of your clean items, but they're also off the floor or off that piece of furniture. Whether it's with your clothes, your dishes, or anything else, the one-touch rule can be a really powerful way to work smarter, not harder. And then this next habit takes mere seconds to do, and that's whenever you finish a roll of toilet paper, take a moment to swap it out and deal with any trash that's involved. Don't be that person who just leaves a toilet roll lying on the bathroom ledge for days. But then something else you can do too to make life easier on yourself and others is to store a few extra toilet paper rolls somewhere nearby. And that way, if someone ever needs them, they're there. A couple places that I like to do this are either on a nearby shelf or on the ledge behind the toilet. All right, then something you can do to keep your everyday kind of on the go essentials neat and organized is to designate and just start using a drop zone. If you don't have one already, create an area where you can just drop your wallet, your keys as soon as you walk through the door. It makes it so that things don't get scattered about and you'll never be left wondering where your keys are. If you have one of these already, make sure that you're using it. This just makes it so your things don't get scattered about. You're never left wondering where your keys or other essentials are. Let's touch on another quick one. A great habit to get into is just opening and breaking down packages as soon as you receive them. Let's just be honest for a moment. Empty shipping boxes can take up a lot of space. So just start taking them apart and putting them with your recycling as soon as they come in. And that way they don't pile up. Then a big one for food prep is that you want to wipe down your cutting board after using it every single time. This is something that I can often be guilty of if either what I was chopping up was pretty small or it didn't make too big of a mess. I can be tempted to want to put it off until later. But the problem is food still adheres to our cutting boards when we do this. Mess still accumulates. It's really better to just deal with our cutting boards immediately after chopping up the food. That way the food's going to be fresh, it's going to wipe off really cleanly, and you're not going to have to deal with kind of like a layer of gunk and trying to get rid of that once the food is fully adhered to it once it's dried. Then along the same lines of doing a favor for your future self, something else you can do is to reset your desk at the end of the workday. Not only can doing this be a great way to transition mentally from your workday to the rest of your evening, but it also really helps to ensure that when you begin work the following day, you get to start with a clean slate. That's really important. A number of studies have shown that we're the most focused and productive when our spaces are uncluttered. And so by tidying up your desk at the end of the workday can make sure that you're able to begin each day in a peaceful and productive environment. But then a great way to keep your pantry organized is if decanting your food items is something that you've decided to do, actually do it. And the perfect time to get into the habit of doing this is right as you get home from grocery shopping and you're putting your food items away. Actually, I just thought of this, but in a sense, this can be another application of the one-touch rule. You just want to remember as you're decanting to make sure to empty the bin out before putting in the new item. That way, the newest product is going to be at the bottom. You end up using the older stuff rather than just kind of packing in the oldest bits to the bottom. And something I like to do whenever we're having company over is just to do a quick 60-second tidy up of my home right before our guests are scheduled to arrive. I just like to take a quick survey of my space to see if there's one or two things that I can do just to make my home feel a little bit neater, a little bit tidier before people walk through the door. So this could look like putting away those couple items that are out on the counter, making sure that there's a fresh roll of toilet paper in the guest bathroom, or just doing a quick whiz around with the vacuum to pick up any crumbs. What I've found is that if you're consistently applying a lot of the tidy habits that we're talking about here, you really don't need more than a minute or two to make your home guest ready. And something you should do whenever you get home from being out of the house is to put away your coat, your shoes, and purse. By put away, I mean you want to put it away properly. Don't just get close. So put your shoes on the shoe rack, not beside it. Make sure your coat is hung up, not just thrown on a piece of furniture. It's all about the details with this one, and those couple extra inches or feet really are the difference between your entryway looking clean or messy. And for the kitchen, one habit that I like to practice at least once a day, if not twice or more, is to clear the kitchen counter. The kitchen really is the heart of the home, and our counters are the most visible spot in it. So just taking a minute a couple times a day to clear your counters, to put away any messes, and just to kind of return the space to order is one of those really easy things that you can do that can have a huge impact in making your home feel tidy and clutter-free. I often like to do this once in the morning and once in the evening. It's just such an easy way to reset your space. Then for mail and other forms of paper clutter, get in the habit of dealing with it as soon as it comes in. Don't let it pile up and become a source of chaos and clutter. Instead, just start sorting through your mail as soon as it comes in, recycle what's unnecessary, then create a space for anything that you need to take action on. Make sure to do that regularly. Then another small but impactful one is just whenever you're eating a meal, take a moment to wipe down the table after you eat. That will help your dining area to look tidy, to stay crumb-free. Something else you can do too is as you're wiping down your table, just take that extra second to push your dining chairs in. Something very subtle you can do that can have a big visual impact, making things look neater. All right, maybe at this point you're asking what can be done about bigger tasks, because realistically, not everything can be done in 60 seconds or less. For things like that, it's true. You might not be able to do them in under a minute, but do you know what you can do? you can write it down. Make a note of the task that you're needing to do, and then find a time in your schedule for the upcoming week to get it done. That way you won't forget about it, you'll be reminded to take action on it, and you can actually get it done. Now let's talk about one of the primary sources of clutter in our purses and bags. That's receipts. Let me say I love the fact that we've been going digital with a lot of receipts, but I still get a number of paper receipts on a daily and weekly basis. A lot of them you don't need, but a few you may for accounting purposes. So what you can do is get out your phone, then just scan or take a picture of that receipt, save it to an album with the rest of your receipts. That way they're all in one place, then you can throw it out. Just like that, you can remove a huge source of clutter from your bags. Okay, and we're nearing the end of the list here. For my fellow fresh flower loving fans, something you should do is as soon as you start noticing that your flowers are past their prime, just take a second to toss them. That isn't to say that you need to do this the moment that they're a tiny bit past their prime, but I think we can all relate to the fact that there's definitely kind of a moment in time where your flowers go from being an addition and kind of attraction in your space to something that just looks dead, gross, and kind of nasty. When your flowers cross that threshold, it's time to get rid of them so they don't turn into an eyesore. Then for miscellaneous items, it's a great idea to have a designated spot for those items to get into the habit of always returning items to their spot once you've finished using them. So for example, if you don't currently have a spot where your remote goes, pick a home for it and just make sure that every time you use it, you return it back to that home. This can be applied to so many things, whether that's where the book you're currently reading belongs, where the eye mask you sleep with at night goes, where your phone should be put when it's not in use. This can be a really helpful tool just to make sure that you don't have scattered items about their house. Everything can stay neat and orderly. And again, you're not going to have to search for those items when you need them because they have a home and you know where they are. And when it comes to showering, two things you can do here. First, make sure that you squeegee the door of your shower every time you use it. That's going to prevent soap scum from building up and streaks from showing. Plus, it will help you to remove any excess moisture, which will make it so that you have to clean less. Then also too, if like me, you tend to shed quite a bit of hair whenever you shower, make sure that you toss that as soon as you get out. That way it's not building up for causing a mess. Then last but not least is to reset your couch after use. This is a habit that I find particularly helpful after watching a TV show, a movie, something like that. I find that often when we finish, our sofas can be just kind of a mess of pillows and blankets that we use to get comfortable while watching. Which is great, I am all for making things cozy, but you just want to make sure to return everything back where it belongs. So if you have a blanket basket or a blanket ladder, put everything away there. Or if you just like to have some throw pillows out, give them a quick fluffing, put them back so that they look nice and neat, straighten up any blankets. You just want to do what you can to refresh the space and to give yourself a blank slate. Alright, but that's the list. Thank you all so much for joining me today as we explore the power of 1-minute habits to keep your home clean and tidy. Remember, a few small actions implemented consistently can lead to huge results. I really hope you found this video helpful though, and if you did, it would mean so much to me if you would give it a like and share it with a friend who you think might benefit from it as well. That's everything for this one though, so make sure that you're subscribed for more. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye.